It's fair to think of the PS4 generation as a vibrant ecosystem, once in full swing, with digital purchases becoming a major method in which players purchase their games. We saw for the first time in gaming history these small-time game developers taking on the big guns in the industry. Of course, the playing field is never level, and the best games don't always rise to the top, oftentimes overshadowed by long-established franchises and bigger budgets. Abzu. Evocative subsurface adventure Abzu has players dive serenely through dank, barren waterscapes, with the task of rewilding and rebalancing the ecosystem by introducing marine life. Abzu is a soothing experience, not unlike Journey. In fact, Abzu received a mild dose of criticism upon release, being described as an underwater Journey. An understandable comparison, if somewhat lazy, considering Abzu shares the same art direction and composer as the legendary That Game Company title. There's also less an emphasis on player interaction and more focus on appreciating the surroundings, another similarity to Journey. It's the dreamlike subaquatic spectacle that draws you in. And actually, is being compared to Journey a bad thing anyway? The Tetris effect. The long-awaited Tetris effect stirred a degree of controversy within its hardcore community upon release. See, Tetris effect deliberately softens its stress-inducing edges, becoming a more rounded, pulsating, harmonious experience. This didn't sit well with those who felt the challenge diluted along with it. Detractors soon retracted when it became apparent that Tetris effect is designed as its own thing. The unexpected interactivity between sound design, music, and block dropping, with fizzing neon particles, ensures that, remarkably, Tetris Effect is an entirely fresh take on a decades-old game. Nex Machina. Before the PS5 exclusive Returnal, Housemarque were producing the finest satisfyingly addictive arcade-style shooters for over a decade. Nex Machina is one of them. An intense twin-stick shoot-'em-up delivering plenty of ruthless mechanical action as you carve your way through waves of swarming robots. Gunplay is tight and satisfying, with compact levels well designed to blow to smithereens. There's a hint of arcade machine nostalgia with Nex Machina. There's plenty of upgrades to discover and secrets to explore to keep you engaged as you go for another run, chasing your high score. It's remarkably accessible too. So if you're put off by the relentlessness of bullet hell games, give Nex Machina a go. The top-down perspective makes dashing your way out of trouble a tad bit easier. Until Dawn. Described as the ultimate horror sleeper hit, Until Dawn is closer to watching a horror movie than playing a video game. Firstly, the negatives. Movement is clumsy thanks to some misplaced camera work, and character animations can be a little cockeyed at times. But despite these shortcomings, Until Dawn offers a level of interactivity rarely seen in gaming. Branching dialogue options feed into a supremely well-implemented butterfly effect system, whereby your choices affect the character's chances of survival. 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. The first thing that stands out in screenshots of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is the gorgeous hand-painted watercolor art style. It's warm and inviting, which really doesn't convey the humongous narrative adventure within. A story containing time travel, aliens, kaiju, and an incoming apocalypse. 13 Sentinels is part 2D side-scrolling adventure and part real-time action strategy, where each of the 13 controllable characters can summon a mech warrior to defend against Earth's invaders in battle. It's fair to say then that the game's appearance and its story arc don't quite marry, a juxtaposition explaining why so few picked it up when released. Sure, blended game modes similar to titles like Nier Automata can feel disjointed to some. Stories dense with heady concepts might seem impenetrable too. Stick with it though, as the writing and character development throughout is top-notch, resulting in a superbly crafted, memorable adventure. Hyper Light Drifter. Hyper Light Drifter's pixelated zones, imbued with pink and magenta hues, are a joy to explore. The Drifter's dash and slash combat is slick and refined, there's mystery afoot. The Drifter's illness, giant destroyed mechanisms rusting throughout the landscape, a world seemingly rebuilding after an anonymous conflict. See, the problem gamers might experience with Hyperlight Drifter is its unfathomable narrative. The mysteries are never revealed. There's no dialogue either. Instead, NPCs present images to illustrate their experiences, and it's down to the player to piece all the clues together. In a game world as vibrant and exciting as this, it's a shame not one iota is explained. Still, there's a handful of explanation videos on YouTube if you're eager to understand the underlying story, so there's really no excuse to skip this game. Pyre. Before world-beating indie smash Hades, Supergiant Games produced a string of exceptionally memorable experiences. So, whilst Hades put them on the map, it pays to explore their back catalogue. Pyre is the pick of the bunch, an emotional narrative punctuated by gut-wrenching consequences to player-made decisions, all tightly woven within a 3v3 high-fantasy netball-type sports game, or RIGHT as they're known in-game. If all of this sounds like a jumble salad, then fear not, as Supergiant have masterfully combined these different gameplay mechanics into an imaginative journey, where branching decision trees can directly affect the outcome of the rights, whether victory was achieved or not. Minit. There's a playful gimmick in Minit, which elevates it from a run-of-the-mill pixel adventure. The sword-toting duck-like central character has 60 seconds to explore their surroundings, finding clues to lift a curse before dying and respawning at the last save point. Interaction is simple, and there's no depth to exploration or combat, plus there's only a handful of findable power-ups. Still, Minit is such a short, peculiar little experience that these shortcomings have zero impact in a game that proves so much can be achieved with so little. It's in 2-bit black and white as well, in case you hadn't noticed. Thumper. Thumper is a violent rhythm-based action game from small-time developer Drool, a two-man team who might have crafted one of the most horrifying games you probably haven't heard of. You'll take command of a space beetle, hurtling through a psychedelic void on a track at breakneck speed. Gameplay is essentially QuickTime events, whereby buttons highlighted on screen indicate the action you'll need to take to avoid rapidly approaching obstacles, all within the beat of a pulsating drum-heavy soundtrack. Each stage adds a new mechanic too, so by the end you've honed multiple techniques and will zone in to such an extent as to bring on an existential crisis. Mad Max. Thematically tied to the rebooted Mad Max Fury Road movie, Mad Max the video game is a vast open-world odyssey filled with thrilling vehicular combat that fans of the movie series will come to expect. In fact, the vast majority of the time spent in the game will be driving, which is super enjoyable owing to the stunning vistas offered within the colossal post-apocalyptic desert world. There's a fundamental reason why Mad Max flew under the radar. It was released on the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. It didn't stand a chance, quite frankly. Now the dust has settled 6 years later, Mad Max is worthy of standing tall in a generation of open-world games. Prey. Sci-fi FPS epic Prey features a few extra gameplay mechanics that help this title stand out from the crowd of first-person shooters available on the PS4, which is much needed, as the gunplay and stealth sections can only be described as serviceable at best. There's a surprisingly refined RPG system at play, all tied into a morality system. Should I save the humans under attack or not? But the real draw here is the setting. Set aboard a strange lived-in space station orbiting the Earth, Prey's developers littered the game world with backstory collectibles, serving to flesh out an already fascinating space station with immersive environmental storytelling. Exploration is rewarding in other ways too. Practically every item is collectible as scrap, which you can transform into useful items. Shadow Warrior 2. A blight most FPSs suffer is a struggle to stand out from the crowd, owing to an oversaturated genre. Thankfully, Shadow Warrior 2 brings more than childish humour. its melee combat is the most refined of its fighting mechanics, allowing the player a chance to slice off body parts with rapid precision from a wide range of bladed weapons. Seamlessly incorporating dash and knockback abilities into your arsenal is the game's way of encouraging you to get into the thick of the action. The Evil Within 2. The Evil Within 2 succeeds in getting the most fundamental aspect of the genre spot on. You need to feel like you're barely clinging on to life. You'll feel exhausted after every frightening encounter. The Evil Within 2 features a wide range of gross monsters to kill, and thanks to a broad spectrum of weaponry, from knives to flamethrowers, there's a range of ways in which to slaughter them too. Tearaway Unfolded. This adaptation of the PS Vita classic vitalizes the crafted handmade level design, upscaling to the PS4. The world looks positively alive. Who would have thought that paper could breathe? The real charm with Tearaway Unfolded is the ability to craft your own elements for use in the game world using the PS4's DualShock touchpad. Draw a simple outline, a leaf, a crown, or a snowflake for instance, and see it magically appear in-game. Not enough games make use of the intricacy of the DualShock's touchpad. A shame really, as it's super effective in fleshing out the already vibrant world of Tearaway Unfolded. Driveclub. Driveclub. What could have been? For a game so early in the PS4's lifespan, Driveclub features some of the most exquisite-looking car models, gorgeous mountainous vistas, and satisfyingly throaty exhaust sounds. Its gameplay was a blend of racing sim with arcade sensibilities, designed to appeal to the broadest audience. All the ingredients are there, so what went wrong? Put simply, it was the overemphasis on multiplayer that signaled the long, painful death of Driveclub. It was intended to be a social game, where drivers can meet up and play out their racing fantasies together in some of the world's top sports cars. It's a pity, as the single-player experience still holds up as a fantastic racing game to this day. And with that, we've reached the end of this video. Have anything to say? Let us know in the comments below. Also, we upload new videos every single day on GamingBolt, so please consider subscribing, as it really helps us out. Thanks for watching.